Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the NoWayButUp Podcast. My name is Marvel Bishop. We are here with another great episode of Basel with Bishop. Man, I have something to confess. I got something to confess. Right. When I first came here, right, I'm thinking that we're about to have like a regular freaking interview, this and that, and I had a whole bunch of questions for you. A whole bunch of questions. But all that shit went out the window. All that shit went out the window because I'm like, yo, I just got just induced with like just creativity, man. And just
yes, I love it.
Man, I don't even know where to start, man. But let's start out with introducing you, a person who is a great dude. I mean, we're on some high and by shit right now, but I really feel like we could definitely become, good friends.
For sure.
Sayco Williams, right?
That's
my
me.
Man. How you doing, man?
Yes, sir. I'm great, my brother. Thanks for having me.
So, how did we first meet?
I believe in the gym, Equinox. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, cool. So, originally from...
Sorry?
Where are you from originally?
I'm from New York.
Okay. Long Island.
Yeah, from New York, from Brooklyn.
Okay, Brooklyn.
Yes,
but what part of Brooklyn?
East New York.
Okay, cool. But right now, you pretty much resided here in Miami?
Yeah. I moved here 2 years ago.
Okay, cool. So, all right. So, there's a couple things. So, number one, when I first saw you, I actually did not even think of you actually be an artist at all. I thought you like either a trainer or fucking, I don't know, just something, right? Do you get that a lot?
Yeah. So at one point in my life, I was a personal trainer.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't fit the typical, this guy looks like he paints.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Style.
So there's one thing I definitely want to start out with is, when we come out to these interviews is that, like where did exactly all of this pretty much come from? Like where did you start and all that? So please.
Yeah, so I started as a child. I used to draw a lot of cartoon characters, like over and over. And then eventually as a teen, I started painting. Like a friend of mine was a painter and I naturally got curious and decided, hey, let me see what painting is like since I'm good at drawing. So let's see what happens. And then I started with painting, and it just felt so much, so more free. Like it felt more like there was less rules than drawing. Like with drawing, it was like, okay, like the nose has to look like this, the eyes have to look like this. But with painting, it was just like go. Like it was okay to mess up, and that I really loved that. So it was like, okay, cool. So I experimented more with that, and then I started studying other artists and like kind of picked up inspiration from watching different documentaries and just dove deeper and deeper into it and tried out new techniques, all learned from trial and error.
So from the people that you were actually looking for inspiration, like who you really really look up to?
Yes. I watched a lot of documentaries. So the ones that stuck out to me the most and inspired me to actually take my art as a full-time career are artists like Jean-Michel Basquiat,
okay,
Andy Warhol, Jackson Pollock was kind of the style that I very first started when I very first started making abstract paintings. Jackson Pollock's style of like that drip I always found like awesome because like he kind of mastered an accident. So it was like, oh, that's cool. And if you learn to actually control the drip, you can manipulate it into cooler things.
So question, what you just pretty much described is just not just a that type of drip type of like style of painting. It is more of a freestyle, but there is some type of like art to it. Like as far as like I want to say art because there is art into pretty much everything, but there is a type of like skill towards it because I feel like a lot of people are very ignorant towards that. They're like, what we talked about earlier, right. People is like, oh yeah, like you just here, you can just drip this and just spray shit and that's
I
it.
can do that. It's
but
fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But hey, fucking do it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
show me.
Yeah. But describe the way of how you do that drip style, basically, when you do your paintings to really shed light into, hey, listen, this is a form of art, a form of skill and talent that you need to have.
Yeah, for sure. So what I like to do with my pieces is I like to resemble movement. Like if you see it in a lot of my works, like you'll see a certain pattern or design going in one direction, and then you'll see another pattern or design going in another direction, another color, and those are layered up on top of each other until you see like one complete image. But I know people do think that it's a lot of just like throwing paint on the canvas, but it is that, but it's controlled and it's used to manipulate where your eyes are going. It's not just close your eyes and throw it at the canvas and see what happens.
Yeah.
So it's a process to it, and over the years you start to understand like how much you can control the splash and the directions you can manipulate it, and you just build time and time again, and it becomes masterpiece.
But yeah, how long does it take to really get to a point where, like from your first time of actually doing that till now, like how long did it really take to be like, you know what, I really got something here with that particular style?
So it's interesting. I would say like pretty soon, it didn't take too long for me to realize that was something that I always wanted to implement into my works, but that's not going to be like the complete style. That's not the complete style of my works. Like,
okay,
I do a lot of different styles.
It's a branch of what you do.
Yeah. It definitely is like a branch, and it definitely is one of the staples of my works. Like my abstract works, a lot of splash and drip. So it is incorporated into my work, and it didn't really take me too long for me to like realize that this is what I really want to continue to incorporate into my pieces, like further on till on.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. People are not really too savvy when it comes like to the process of art and the process of like what you do. Just first of all, you know what? Where are my manners? I didn't even thank you. I didn't even say thank you first of all for like opening us, the home and everything, man. This shit is like dope, man.
Of course.
So speaking about your home and your sanctuary, how important is it to really have a place, a safe haven to really explore your creativity? And
crucial.
like, please talk to me about that.
Crucial. Yeah.
Because you can't just do art anywhere.
Yeah.
Or create art anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you can create art anywhere, but you can't like get into the deepest of zones as a creative unless you have control of your environment. So you may be able to tap into it a bit, like when you're out of your element or when you're anywhere in the world. You know what I mean? Like anybody can like draw on the go, but it's a completely different animal when you are in control of your entire surroundings, and you know what zone, that you have the control of the flow of the room, and your energy is what is going into the canvas like no other I guess imposters or nothing else.
It's all good.
Yeah, that's fine. Dropping paint, it's okay.
Not the first time, won't be the last time.
It will not.
Thank God it's closed. I know you dropped some shit before.
I sure have. You see this floor?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, definitely.
That's fine.
But yeah, continue.
Yeah. I actually don't remember.
So we were talking about like your safe haven and like how important it was.
Yeah. So I really do believe that it's crucial for you to, as an artist, to have a space where you can go to and you control the entire energy. This way, like you really control like what goes into the piece. I make sure like when I'm doing my pieces, like I legit I have a system, and I actually like just thought about this the other day. Like like how I get into my zone is I usually I put on music, depending on what kind of music. Could be jazz, could be R&B, could be hip hop. It doesn't matter. So it all depends on the day. So I put on music and I just stare into my space, into my workspace, and then I pace back and forth. I like walk back and forth for like 5 or so minutes, and like dancing and vibing and just like getting the energy going, getting the flow right in the room. And then when I see whatever it is in the space that says go, I just go towards it and I just like start going to work. But that like process is what allows me to like go all the way deep into a zone. Like I can paint without like doing all that, but for me to, when I know like I'm about to zone in and I'm for some time, like that's my startup.
So there's a clear difference between like when you're like creating and when you're like creating.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I think there's a difference between making and creating.
Okay, talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about it.
Like anybody can make something, or like you can make you can make anything. Like you know what I mean? Like you can put a stick figure on a piece of paper and say you made a stick figure. You know what I mean? But creating something is taking a lot of components of a lot of different things and forming those into one idea, one being, one thing, one entity, basically. Got it. Forming those into one idea. That's. I feel like that's the difference between creating.
So what's the Do you get a chance to when you do start creating and you get into your mode? Is it a instance where you let it happen, or do you put your foot forward and like you actually like try to make it happen? Because I feel like there's like, two different types of like ways and two different types of approaches, honestly. Well, there's many different approaches, but what I'm talking about right here is I really feel like with this type of art, it's not forced. It's just natural and like it's just like flowetry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're really big on energy. So I feel like, you let the energy basically consume you first and you let the energy basically take you.
Exactly.
So talk to me about that.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty accurate, actually.
Okay.
So like I said, I am big on energy. Like you said, I am big on energy, and I'm also big on what energy I put into the piece, because like that's, so at the end of the day, like no matter how many pieces I create, I could create 100, I could create 1,000, I could create 100,000. But all of those pieces, when my body is physically gone, like those are a piece of my legacy. Right?
Got it.
Like people will forever remember those pieces and what those pieces bring to their homes, what those pieces bring to their energy, and that is essential for me in every piece that I create. So I make sure that I control my environment while I am creating, because I am putting this into this piece, so that when it hangs in someone's home, they are reciprocating the right energy. They're getting what I put into that piece.
What's the saying? Energy is not created nor destroyed.
It's only transferred.
Yeah, it's only transferred. One of the things that we were talking about before this interview is people not really understanding the hard work and just how much energy and how much time it takes basically to make these pieces. My question to you is that why are people so fucking ignorant though? Like why? Like, and how many conversations have you had about this? Have you ever had a conversation about this? Why people like, oh, you know what? Why are you charging $10K for this? But to really speak your piece, for not only you but also for the artist, please describe the process of why it takes so long and why people charge so much.
So there's a lot of factors that go into the pricing of pieces, and I'm no like art like
connoisseur,
extraordinary connoisseur. You know what I mean? I create what I create, and I do what I do. But there's a lot that goes into it. For example, one, like how many pieces you've created over time, like up until that point. There's like, of course, the quality of your work. Like, is it on the right kind of materials? Like, are you using the right materials? It goes in like your message. Like, what is the piece saying? Is it they have both ends where there's just some art that just looks really cool and there's really no meaning, but there's other pieces that go really deep and like connect with a lot of different things and a lot of
controversy
different ways.
issues, current events, and everything else too. Yeah.
So what it is, like this, it's what art is someone's expression of whatever idea or thought that they are speaking or expressing on, right? So that artist has the right to choose their price based on the market that they're in, the amount of pieces they've sold, what those pieces have sold for, just like what kind of movement do they have going on. There's a lot of different variables of that.
There's just so many things that, like you said, so many variables, so many things that definitely go into art pieces. What I have learned from just hanging out with and just getting to know people who are artists, who are painters, who are sculptors, they're not just charging for that particular piece and how many hours for that particular piece. They're actually charging for the whole entire journey. Now, number one, the journey that you go into right now is priceless. It's fucking priceless. Yeah. It really is. And it's priceless to pretty much anybody. But to put a price tag on it, it is a journey that you guys have pretty much. And that's the reason why it's like, hey, listen, the reason why I'm charging 10, 15K or whatever, because honestly, number one, you're trying to eat, obviously. Number two, more so, it is a testament of what you pretty much go through within your artist journey. So it's not just that one piece. It's the pieces that you've done in the past. It's the pieces that you fucked up on and you just stopped or whatever, which we're going to talk about that, by the way. So like people just honestly really need to understand that. Now, as far as you were talking about type of messages that are conveyed when it comes to art pieces, you were saying that people are, and this is something that we can kind of relate on, people are actually, sometimes whatever, are intimidated by you, right? You said that. That's why you smile so much, right? Yeah. Well, and I'm not going to answer this. I'm not going to say this, whatever, because I want to hear this from you. But I feel like you were saying, so art is basically a way of expression, right?
Yes.
Are there messages within your the many art pieces, the beautiful art pieces that you have right now, that you're pretty much trying to convey that is hard to express or hard to say?
No.
Really?
None.
So there's no pieces right here, basically, that you have a hidden message, basically. That's what I'm asking.
Hidden message?
Yes.
There's plenty of
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Okay,
so for instance,
you said hard to convey, meaning like I couldn't explain. I thought you meant like I couldn't explain the piece when you said hard to say.
No, not that. I'm saying within like the art pieces, there's hidden messages. And,
oh yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yes. There's tons of hidden messages. Some are like obvious, like more obvious than others. But there's definitely hidden messages within the pieces. Some pieces I do go into full detail as far as like the entire explanation of the piece, and other pieces I found that I like to just let the audience wander. I was going to ask
you, like, how does that work? Like, would you like to have the people who the seers to actually just figure out on themselves?
So there's a balance for me personally that I've had to actually develop recently.
Talk about it.
I allow people to absorb it first.
Got it.
Most of the time, like if they're not coming up to me asking me the explanation of it, I'll just stand back and I'll let them absorb it. I'll let them think what they want to think, feel how you want to feel. Like let that piece speak to you in whatever way that you want to take it.
Got it.
And then I'll go in and I'll explain like, hey, how do you feel about this piece? So oftentimes when I do that, I find that they love the piece even more because they now understand like the full definition of what each piece, each element of the piece means and represents. So then they fully connect with the piece even stronger. So I feel like it definitely helps the connection, but I also feel like there should be an allowance of you absorb it,
internalizing it basically, just honestly, just coming up with a meaning pretty much for yourselves.
Right.
Yeah. And honestly, that's the beautiful thing about, art, you know what I'm saying? Like everything is pretty much like very, very subjective.
Yeah.
And honestly, man, like your house is amazing. Like your place is amazing. Honestly, I can't really disclose where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Can't really do that. But I want to talk about something that I feel like I can kind of only talk to you about in my Basel with Bishop segment. Well, you as being a black man.
Okay.
So have there ever been a case where, because of who you are as a person and because of the color of your skin, have you ever had any resistance with your art? Because I really feel like there are certain doors that can be open, that can be open and not be open, depending on, because you already know how it is, just in general, like we do live in a very systematic oppression place. But you as a black man, as a black artist, have you ever experienced that? Any resistance?
So I would say I have experienced it, but I don't in small amounts, and I don't allow it to like actually penetrate into my bubble of caring. You know what I mean?
Got
Like
it.
like here's the thing, like I'm a black man raised in America, raised in one of the most toughest neighborhoods, like East New York. Brooklyn is
Yes, sir.
is not a nice neighborhood to be raised in. So like you deal with your fair share of like troubles, you know what I mean? So at a young age I've kind of realized that the world isn't pretty and the world isn't exactly what you want it to be, so you have to learn to maneuver around those unsavory humans.
Got it. What does Jay-Z say? Learn how to move in a room full of vultures.
Yeah. So yeah, like me personally, like I allow people to be who they are and allow people to show me who they are, and then I move according. Like that's all. So if there's resistance, if I find that there's any resistance in my career at all from anybody, any sector, that's fine. I'm A-okay with that because there's an entire other door over here. And if there's not one here, I'm going to make another door over here. So you can't stop me from getting to where I'm going. You just showed me that you're just not a part of my process.
I got it. Like, yeah, I mean, once one's door opens or doesn't, or closes or doesn't even open, there's another door right there that pretty much opens right there. But why? But here's my thing. Doors, but here's what, like why? Like, you're the first person, honestly, of color, basically, that actually has that mentality. Like, why do a lot of other people have the other type of mentality, whereas like everything's pretty much against them? Which honestly, yes, it is. You know what I'm saying? No, it is. Everything. Yeah, it is against them.
The numbers don't lie. Like,
but what advice do you give black artists that are experiencing to pretty much to fight the fight and to fight the pardon me, to fight the grain? Like what would you? Because I feel like it's like, I would say that you broke the ceiling, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's like you're not even in that realm because you don't even think of like that. So is it a mentality issue? Like what advice would you give them?
100%. I believe it is a mentality thing. I also believe it is an understanding of self. I feel like a lot of people are in unsavory positions in their lives, whether it be whatever area of life, and they're like looking to point the finger at someone else and keep pushing that button instead of focusing internally and understanding what can I create of myself, regardless of what I've been through, regardless of any situation, regardless of upbringing, color, financial situation, whatever it is. Focus on what I can create of myself versus what people or races of people think or prejudge me to be. Like you make your prejudgments. That's fine. Be you, do you. I'm gonna show you who I am. Period. And you can either take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it, basically.
This is me.
Yeah, and then the great thing about it is that you are a great example, pretty much, for the artists who are coming up and who are basically trying to do what you do. So it's not a case where like you don't really like have a chance, or whatever. It's all about mentality at the end of the day, like you said. So
absolutely, 100%.
All right, Basel.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Basel. Oh, okay. Before you wasn't really excited about Basel before.
No, I was.
I'm teasing.
It's been a long month.
Okay,
man.
no, I got you.
It's been a long couple of months.
Let's talk about Basel, and let's talk about the hate and love relationship that artists have with Basel, because you're saying that how, like, you know, you're about to hit Basel right now, you love it, everything's great, it's wonderful, but at the same time, you know, it's like, damn, I can't wait till this shit's over, because it's like, it's such a grind, it's such a like exhausting, you know, process. Now,
right.
how do you balance that? Tough question.
No. It's a great question. So there is, man, how do I start?
Go ahead. No, just start by starting.
Right. So there's an entire process of creating pieces for. Well, what I do is I create collections, like a lot of other artists as well. They create collections of work. So what I'm doing for this Basel is creating a new collection of work. So it's not just like I'm doing 1 or 2 pieces, like I'm doing like 10 or so or more, you know, depending on sizes and other things. So there's a process from just like idea, like just like, hey, I have this concept. I want to put this new collection together that's going to look like XYZ. And then you start to build out that collection. You start to think of what each piece, this is how I work. You start to build out each piece, like what each concept is going to feel.
Got it.
For me, it's very important. Like each piece has to have like, each piece of a new collection should have, at least the higher majority, should have like a feeling when you see this piece. Like when you are standing in front of this piece, when this piece is in your home, like what does it make you think? Like what does it make you feel? How are you perceiving this piece? So I feel like that is where I usually start with most pieces of a new collection.
Got it.
So you build out X amount of pieces, concepts. Okay, so you got all the concepts down. Now it's like, okay, what sizes are gonna go? Like, what sizes are gonna go for which piece? What colorway are you gonna put for each piece? How are you gonna tie the entire collection together? The building of the pieces. So are you getting stretched frame, or are you getting canvas roll where you have to paint it and then stretch the frame? For this new collection, this is on wooden panel. So I actually built these wooden panels myself.
Yeah, no,
and
that's dope.
Yeah,
that's
along
really
with a
dope.
buddy of mine, Kyle,
which is a process before you even get into the process of basically painting, right?
Yeah.
Canvas,
you haven't painted anything yet.
Yeah.
This is just all. This is just all concept and building the platform for you to be able to paint. So these, like, we actually like went to Home Depot, got the base, the wood, cut it, and actually built the entire frames. And then you got to prime it, you got to treat it, you got to make sure that it's not going to, you know, me personally, I do this with my pieces. I make sure that because I live in Miami, mold and moisture is very relevant here in Miami.
Oh, really? Okay.
So wooden panels, what I do is I treat them just to make sure that they do not grow mold, just as a preventative thing.
So mold can definitely ruin an art piece.
If you have a home where you don't necessarily, you're not always there, or you just vacation there, which is a lot of my clientele. So sometimes they'll like the air will like differentiate in the house, and that hot and cold, or moist and dry. Then it can create. You know how Miami is. Like,
Definitely.
Like
the humidity, definitely.
The humidity is insane. So So I treat it just to make sure none of that happens. And then you prime it. And then you can actually start painting. And then from there, it's like, okay, so have you tested the colorways out? Me personally, I test my colorways out. I make sure that like everything looks well together. I'm a very visual person, so like from concept to product, it could be a different thing, but I wanted to make sure it's the exact thing that I want it to be. So I test my colorways, and then once I have that, and then all the colorways are final, then I actually like start to build the piece. I actually start to paint on the piece.
So within that process, basically, is like that's where the hate and love of Basel comes in, right? Because it's like it's such a
so all of that process, I love all of it because from up until that point, like you're just building, you're making stuff, you're creating. The part of it comes. I won't say hate because that's a strong word.
It is.
The part of it is when you start to like not even lose sleep. You start to realize that you haven't slept. It's not even that. It's not even that you lose sleep because it's not like you don't realize it. You just like one day you just realize like I didn't sleep yesterday and I was just up like just making stuff like just creating. So that over time, over a day or two, a couple of days, fine. Would you do that over like a couple of days, over a couple of weeks, over a couple of months, like that? It adds up, and it like your body just like physically gets strained a little bit. And then also like while I'm in art mode, like there's the fitness side of me is like he doesn't exist. Like I'm in the art mode, and I want to paint. I want to create. That's it. I don't think about food. And then when I realize that like 4 or 5 hours have gone past and I haven't eaten and my stomach starts grumbling, I'm like, okay, great. I should get some food. So then I say, okay, let's get some food. And then I see something else that I want to make or paint. And I'm like, okay, let me just touch this up real quick. And then I go to touch that up. And then like another 3 to 4 hours pass. So like you're not eating your normal way when you're in like prep for a show mode.
Prep for Basel and all that.
Yeah. When you're prepping for Basel, prepping for any big show, like it's like the mindset is create. Like food will come eventually sometimes. Like you won't pass out hopefully. So just create. That's really where my mindset is. So that takes another little toll on your body, and then it's like it's the stress of making sure that everything goes well as well, because you have to once you've gone through all the process of like making everything, and then like what I do is I always catalog my pieces, making sure like I get proper photos of each of them, keeping good content, and then because like you're a brand, like you're not just making pieces and then like
there's so many different
disappear
aspects of what you are that basically that needs to really go well
for sure. So once all those pieces are made, you gotta catalog all of them, log all the details, sizes, dimensions, like what the meaning is, colorways, you gotta log all of that. So then after that, then you have to actually go and sell it. Then you have to actually like go and speak to people, and you gotta say like if you don't have a manager, if you're working independently, like you gotta go into galleries. You gotta say, hey, like my name is Sayco, this is what I do. Show them your work. You have to build a portfolio of work, and then if you have that portfolio of work and you're walking into galleries, like and hopefully the right energies are transferring, and then you may have an opportunity to show. So you have to. You have to be ready for that. So it's really about it's a lot, but it's really about and mind you, like you're funding all of this, like because there's no like unless someone is commissioning you to do a new collection or a new piece for them, then that's different. But as an artist, like you have to continuously decide to invest in yourself and invest in what you can create. You could, like just like all of this materials, all of these things, like that they didn't come free.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like
I had to work my ass off.
Exactly. Like it's an investment into yourself. It's an investment into your brand. It's an investment into what you can create. So if you're not consistently doing that, if you're out like bottle popping and like you wasting time and energy and money on things that's not going to help build your brand, build your future, then like, what are you doing? You're not.
There's a lot of people that think that they're artists or whatever, and then like after like a couple quarters, you know what I'm saying, they're like they even get to the third quarter, they're like, fuck this shit, I'm out of here.
It's
what
tough,
I'm saying?
Huh? It's tough.
But then you know what? It's like, listen, at the end of the day, there is pretty much a certain way, a certain thing for everybody, and if it's not pretty much for you, it's not for you.
That's true.
So that's why only the cream pretty much rises to the top. So when I walked up in here, and one of the last things I want to talk about is I was really like gathering around. We did talk about the drip art that you do, but I really feel like one of the things that I get a message of, or I get the feel of, is love.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yes.
I saw the couch. I saw, what we're sitting on right here.
Yeah.
And the theme is love, and also, I guess, a phrase, I love you. So where, and also the back there right here with the heart and everything. Where, from a person that comes across as very fucking intimidating, where does this whole entire message of love come from?
It comes from my heart, man. It comes from, honestly, like, it comes from the fact that there's so much negativity in this world, man. And like, so much of the world blindly praises negativity. They don't even understand it. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things, entire economies that are like driven off of negativity, drama, and things of that nature. And me personally, I don't allow those things in my life. So like, what I'm creating needs to be a transfer of energy, right? So like, I want people to feel love when they see my pieces. I want people to question the things that they love, the things that they believe. Like, that's what I want my pieces to give off. So I always want my message to be of love. I always want what my pieces that I leave behind will be filled with is love, because that's all we really need. Like,
there's so many, like, and it's sad too, like, there's so many, like, multi-billion-dollar industries that are literally feeding off of, like, hate and negativity. And like, I'm not gonna name them right now, but
I want to, but
no, we ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. But people understand where we're coming from. But that's honestly amazing, man. And just to, like, first, I'll give you an example. Like, what's really sad is, like, that is really, like, very highlighted, like, negativity, but like, just people who just want to just, maybe give, like, a freaking sandwich to, like, a homeless person or whatever. And then if you want to, like, maybe film that, people don't even want to film that because it's like, but listen, I'm a type of person, I would love to film that because you're sharing love and you're sharing what needs and positivity out in the world, So I definitely respect you with that. I'm trying to think. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, honestly.
So I can speak on real quick
go ahead.
The next collection, because since we are speaking about love,
I was going to talk about as far as what Art Basel, exactly what talk right, what are you getting into?
More on love.
Yes.
So my next collection that I'm creating, as you can see some of the pieces behind us, is called Love Notes.
Okay.
And what it is a deep dive on love as a whole. It goes through the stages of love, from lust, attraction, attachment, the chemicals that get released when we feel we are in love, phenylethylamine, dopamine, norepinephrine, like what chemicals are being released when you feel certain things. I touch on those within certain pieces throughout the collection.
Okay.
So the characters that you see is also a language that I'm creating. Right now it's my light language. I'm just allowing it to flow through me. And then over time, I will select 26 characters that continuously, like, stick out to me, and I do repeatedly, and conform those to letters and eventually a language.
Okay.
So,
wow, that's amazing, bro.
Thanks, man.
Shit. Thanks. Honestly, I thought it was just. I'm not gonna say it. No, I just thought that, you know what I'm saying. It's like, it's just crazy how, like, art can just, like, be, like, very, like, compartmentalized, and there's, like, so many different levels and so many different, like, layers, man. But
for sure.
Man, I am so excited for you for Art Basel, bro. Like, honestly,
you, man. Me too.
I'm definitely going to come to your art shows as well too, because it's just pretty much going to happen. Last thing to pretty much wrap up, what does No Way But Up mean to you?
What does No Way But Up mean? To me, No Way But Up means that there's nowhere else to go. Like, there's no other option, which is, like, literally how I drive my entire life.
Good.
There's only one way to go, and that's up.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Set a goal, focus on the goal, and get there. Like, that's it. Period.
No Way But Up as always, man. Definitely, man. Sayco, I really appreciate you, man. Thank you for
man.
coming, for letting me in this house, and
Yes.
Anytime, and
bro.
it's really great, man. It's really great to see, honestly, like just like black men really just showcasing and really just like doing the damn thing in a creative way. And best of luck to you, man.
Thank
for
you.
real, man.
Thank you.
And
Thank
happy
you.
Basel.
Thank
You
you,
know what I'm
brother.
saying? Yeah, man.
You, man.
Absolutely, bro. You know what I'm saying?
appreciate you, man.
As always, man. Oh, but first of all, where's my manners? Where can we find you? Shameless plugs. Go right ahead.
Yes, shameless plugs.
Yes, sir.
Hold on, gotta listen. I'm not kidding. Okay, so man, there's a lot of shows. So I'll say this. Okay, I got an actual nice little golden nugget to finish things off.
Go ahead.
So I'm a big firm believer in in believing in what it is, fully immersed in believing in what it is that you want out of life and going to that goal, right? Like that's it. Like laser focus, decide what you want and go get it. Laser focus, right? So I moved down here 2 years ago, and then one of my life goals was to show for Art Basel. At that point I never showed for Art Basel at all. So last year I had my first show at Art Basel. So that was like a life goal, check off. And then, so that I had one show, and it was one show for 3 days. And now, this year, the following year, I am in anywhere between 5 to 6 shows.
Okay.
Throughout the same amount of time.
Okay.
So,
okay. Got it.
So just progress check.
Good. Nice.
That's how
Keep
I
it moving. No way but up, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No way but up, brother. I have one show at the Penthouse at the Hadid building. That's a private event, though. I have another show Wednesday, December 4th at Zenith from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. Thursday, I'll be at Basel Dream. That's Dream Hotel. I'll be also at Basel Bomb, which is another mansion somewhere.
We'll put all the information in the bio. So okay, I got you.
Cool. We got Basel on the Bay at Aria on the Bay also, and then Style X at the Mondrian. I'm showing there as well.
Okay.
On Friday, we got the SLS at Hyde Beach. Also, I'll still be at Basel Bomb and Style X all throughout the weekend up until Sunday. And yeah, that's pretty much the schedule.
Good.
We're gonna repost all those shows.
It's all good, man. We'll put it in the bio,
Yeah.
man. But like I said, man, good luck to you, everything. Happy Basel, and yeah, man, go fucking kill it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir, man. As always, there's no way but up.
On the way. No way but up, baby. I love it.